how are you this evening? I am Sandy Eulitt with both Cats, Crafts, and Laughs and Sandy Eulitt Enterprises. Sandy Eulitt Enterprises is kind of the all-encompassing name for all my businesses, one of which is astronomy and space, hence the astronomical backdrop here. I do have cats, but I have a wider angle here tonight. So decided to use this to cover more of the whiteboards that are underneath here. As some of you may know, I have quite a background as a sewist. I've been doing this, I know I don't look like it, thank you very much, but I have been sewing for over 50 years. I learned as a young lady on my mom's Kenmore sewing machine, and I have sewn, I want to say I've sewn almost everything, but then I meet people who have sewn more than I have, and I feel very small by comparison. But I've sewn my wedding gown, which was like almost the size of Princess Diana's, to be honest with you. And there's pictures, or will be pictures, on the Cats, Crafts, and Laughs website of that. I've sewn many special occasion garments. I have sewn suits. When we used to wear suits to work, I sewed my own suits, you know, with the hair canvas and the hand tailoring and the silk lining and custom fitted and all that stuff. Yeah, I did that back when I was even crazier than I am now. Cocktail dresses, I've sewn about 1 million of those. Sewed the dress that I have on, including, I get so many compliments on this, see the little inset here with the champagne bucket on it so that it matches with the body of the dress. Home dec items, active wear, which will be relevant tonight. Snuggle sacks, you'll see a pattern for that on the Cats, Crafts, and Laughs website very soon. I've done a ton of machine embroidery for those snuggle sacks, which I predominantly made for friends and family members. Quilts, and I'm currently making a t-shirt quilt. All of which leads to, there is often a misconception that elastic is elastic is elastic. And unfortunately, that is not true. There is a lot of elastic out there, and it's definitely not all created equal. I have a very dear friend named Lee Mary who makes my sewing skills just pale in comparison. She makes these truly magnificent quilts. She does alterations, which I don't touch because there's a limit to my insanity and I don't like to alter things. She used to run a Joann's. She makes lingerie. I don't make lingerie. Why would I make lingerie when I can buy what I need for very inexpensively? But she makes lingerie. And she was telling me, I saw her several weeks ago, she was telling me about a time just before Christmas several years ago, and this is very common with sewists before Christmas, is that they're up till the wee hours of the morning working on a project that they've got to get finished because they either need to ship it for Christmas or they need to wrap it to give it as a gift for Christmas. So she's up there up the wee hours of the morning sewing away, and she had taken some elastic, and as sewists do, put a safety pin in it and had run it through the casing and was almost to the end, and the safety pin pulled out of the elastic. And so she wasn't able to finish it, and she had to go back and redo the entire thing. And that is one of the trademarks of very inexpensive, low quality elastic, and one of the things that I want to talk with you about tonight. The components of elastic predominantly are nylon, polyester, rubber, and cotton. Unfortunately, if you go to buy elastic, the manufacturer of that elastic basically does not tell you how much of each they used. In fact, they may not use rubber in some of them. They may not use nylon in some of them. They may use no cotton in some of them. So what you have to be able to do is trust the person that you're buying the elastic from, which brings you to me. Tonight I'm going to show you a couple different kinds of elastic that I sell. And here is Jay. See why the website is called Cats, Crafts, and Laughs? it can't stay out of my sewing things. So tonight I'm going to show you 3 different kinds of elastic. This is the 1/4 inch black elastic, braided, and it has been referred to as black gold by many, many, many customers. I have sold probably 20,000 yards of this. I also have a 1/4 inch braided white elastic, which is well loved. Everybody loves this elastic. It holds up very well. And then I have a 1/8 inch white elastic as well. All of these elastics are sourced from the United States of America. They ship from my home in Oceanside, California. They are not coming, if you see my ad, a lot of ads I've heard say it looks like they're coming from Illinois, but the reality is that the elastic is coming from China on a slow plane from China and won't be there for a couple of months. That is not the case with me. My elastic is in stock, and if you order before 3 p.m. Eastern Time, your order will ship the same day, I guarantee it. And you'll be sent a tracking number as soon as I have it. So one of the first things that you worry about with the quality of elastic is, and I get this question a lot from my customers, how does it hold up when you iron it or when you pull on it? So I have my iron set. Now this is very important with elastic, is that you want to have it on the synthetic setting. I've heard that a lot of elastic is melting, and it could be because the iron is not on a synthetic setting. Synthetic is for things like polyester and nylon in particular. Think about ironing a pair of pantyhose. Would you do that? You might, but you would want it on a very, very, very low temp setting on your iron. Otherwise it's going to melt your pantyhose. And there could be nylon in this elastic. So I've deliberately scrunched this up really well in order to demonstrate how nicely this irons out. As you can see, I'm ironing away here. I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute. I really don't have much steam on it. This is my Eulitt, I think it's an Air Touch iron. Love this thing. Bought it about 5 years ago. And there we go. See how nice and straight that is? Also, you will notice it's got a good amount of spring to it. I forgot to bring downstairs with me a cutting mat so that I could actually show you, here, but wait, there's more. I could do it right here. See, I can pull this out to that length and it snaps right back. And there's actually a cutting mat on the other side of this. But it does not lose its springiness. The same we have here with the black gold elastic. Again, just let it sit for a second on the synthetic setting. I got new glasses the other day and they aren't adjusted right, so I have to keep pushing them up. And I was going to put makeup on for this, but it is so hot outside and it's late at night. I had to wait for the house to cool off before I could do this. And there we go. There is the black, again, nice and straight. And now for the 1/4 inch white. I've heard a lot of complaints about white elastic, or I should say about the 1/8 inch white elastic, because it's so narrow, it's brittle. A lot of it is brittle and it falls apart either when it's ironed or when you pull on it. Didn't get that end. And there you go. Very nice and straight. Pull it all you want to, it does not come apart. And what I did earlier this evening was I cut right into the end of the 1/4 inch elastic. As you can see, I'm pulling really hard on this and it does not rip lengthwise. And the same thing with the black elastic. I cut into it as well, the pair of sharp scissors, and I'm pulling on it and it does not rip lengthwise. The 1/8 inch, here's the end of it. It's not fraying, it's not melting, it's not pulling apart. And just so that you can see how this would hold up in the mask that I know that you're probably making, I made a few masks as a demonstration for you. So the first mask I have is using the 1/4 inch white elastic. As you can see, I've zigzagged this down on each corner, and I'm pulling really hard on this, and that elastic is not going anywhere. My masks use the improved CDC pattern that can be found on my Cats, Crafts, and Laughs website, and that pattern is made so that you can put an optional filter in it. So it's got a pocket here. The filters are cut out of vacuum bag material and are cut 4 inches by 6 inches in a rectangle. And so this is, everybody complains that it's hard to breathe with a mask on, and honestly it is. I have a lifelong history of allergies and sinus problems, and I have a really hard time wearing them. But there are cases when you're going to be in a enclosed building or in very close proximity to somebody, or maybe you're making these masks for healthcare workers or first responders, and they're going to want the filter. Even if they're only wearing the mask for a few minutes, they're going to want that filter because it really does reduce the transmission. So my pattern again is made so that you can make it a pocket and just slide a piece of filter material in there. And again, that video and that tutorial is on my Cats, Crafts, and Laughs website. Again, I have sold at least 20,000 yards of this white elastic, and look at this. I'm pulling on it with a good amount of strength. This stuff has been laundered many times by my clients. I have not heard a single complaint, not one. Here's the black elastic. Decided to make a Pittsburgh Steelers mask in the hopes of a forthcoming football season, because I've remarked several times that if we don't have football this fall, I'm going to off myself. There's only so many reruns that I can watch, and I eat, sleep, live, breathe, and die by football. So I bought this, I saw this fabric from a lady several years ago, and I picked it up. I have a very dear friend who is a big-time Steelers fan, and she was killed in a car accident about 18 years ago, and I thought maybe I would make a quilt or something in her memory, or send some masks or something to her family. But there's the black. This is the black gold. I have one customer who's probably bought 1,500 yards of this black elastic from me. And then I got out some of my sewing fabric. I have lots of sewing fabric. And there I used the 1/8 on it. And that's a good pull, and all I have done is zigzag it down. So that's the quality of elastic that you would be getting from me. Your time is valuable. I know that you don't want to make something and then have it fall apart and you have to redo it, particularly if you are selling your masks. Particularly if you are selling your masks or donating them to first responders, to doctors, to nurses, to EMTs, to firefighters, people who are going to be up close and very personal with potentially very ill people. You want to make sure that that mask holds up, because if they're out with a patient and they've got their mask on and that elastic breaks, guess what? They have no protection now. You don't want that. You don't want the customer service hassles, and that is why I am absolutely OCD about the quality of elastic that I sell. I am offering you a high quality elastic that will stand up to repeated washings, long period of time. Let's face it, we all thought that we'd be mask free by now in July, and you know what? We're not. We're going to be wearing masks for at least probably another year. You've got high quality elastic here at a very affordable price, and I would love to send you some. I want to help you be successful in your mask making endeavors. I want to thank you for your time this evening. Please visit me on my websites www.catscraftsandlaughs.com or at www.sandyeulitt.com, spelled SANDYEULITT.com. And if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and tell your friends to visit me. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.